Will I be able to import and run a modern program on this outdated CNC machine? Let's find out. You're not gonna believe it, it's crazy. So if you guys haven't seen the Will It Run video on this CNC lathe, go back through my list and check it out. It'll kind of catch you up to date on the whole history of this machine. So long story short, I did end up getting this running. So now I want to find out if I can actually import a modern program to this machine and run parts on it. So in order to do that, we got to overcome a couple of hurdles first. The first being communicating with this machine. It has a RS-232 port, and what I plan on using is one of these DNC boxes right here. So what I'm going to do is hook up the RS-232 plug to the RS-232 plug on this machine and try to communicate with it. One of the hurdles with that alone is I have to match up the parameters on the DNC box to the parameters to input a program on the CNC machine. So then if we're lucky enough to do that and import a program, then at that point, I personally use Fusion 360, so I have to generate G-code for this machine to export to it. And the second hurdle would be the post-processor from Fusion 360. I've never had one that just goes right into the machine and works. So we might have to do some tweaking there. We might not even be able to get this to work. So if we do get that far, then I have to find tooling for the machine, figure out how to do the work offsets and the tool offsets, find some jaws for the chuck, and see if we can machine. So that's a lot of hurdles to overcome. Let's start with communication. So here's my DNC box. I'm gonna run this cord up through here. I noticed on this machine that someone actually took, pushed the RS-232 port back into there. Of course that won't fit in there, but maybe I can take this cover off here and push it through there. And when I look inside of here, I can see the RS-232 port is still there. They actually had like something external hooked up to it, which they cut when I bought it. So I'm gonna hook it right into there and see if we can get that to work. So I'm gonna take this little door right here off for access. Looks like it's empty on the other side. Awesome. Oh, I can actually get into there and see the RS-232 cord. Another thing is hopefully it's a male to female, because this is a male. If not, we might be stuck right there. Okay, we lucked out. The one on the machine is female, and this one is male. So let's couple those. Boom. All right, now for the DNC box. It just has magnets on the back. These things are really cool. I've used these on a bunch of my older machines. Just magnetizes, you add power to it, and you can stick 2 different USBs into this, or you can store programs on this to drip feed or to send to your machine. So let's get some power to this, see what we can figure out. So I have the DNC box all powered up, hooked up. You can see here, you just turn it on. It'll accept a USB in the side there, and it says waiting on USB. So over here in Fusion, I have just an old turning program from when I was running my Akuma. I don't have the tools correct or anything like that, but I went and found a Fanuc turning post processor that was through Fusion, so I'm gonna post that out to the stick. And then eject it. So now that program, which should be a Fanuc program, is on this USB stick. We just stick it in here, and then we should be able to import it. Let's get this machine turned on and homed out. I'm still not too familiar with this machine. I actually just learned how to home it all out. Breaker on, NC on. This will look like it's flickering, but it's not. Okay, machine start. If any of you guys know about this Fanuc or Fanuc OT controller, leave it in the comments. There's a lot of stuff I don't know about it, but I do have the manuals. I've been reading through them a little bit. So let me go through here and home this thing out. So 0. Got that zeroed out. Zero that out. Got that zeroed out. And then you got to do the tool turret, and I think you hold both indexes and it'll do it. Yeah, there it is. So we're all homed out. Let's close the chuck. Boom, chuck closed. So we're all zeroed out, chuck's closed, ready to rock. So now I actually have to figure out how to import this program. Let me check out a video real quick. So I found a video here of someone that has a Fanuc OT controller, and it actually has some of the parameters that I need, the data bits, parity, stop bits, and baud rate. So hopefully this machine is set up the same. I'm gonna go to the box and switch all those settings to match, see if that works. So to do that on this box, you actually turn it on while you're holding the set button. There we go. So now communications, and then let's see, the baud rate says 4800 on that. Set that. And then the data bits, his says are 1, but that says 7 or 8, so oh no, it does say 7. Okay, set. Parity should be even, which it usually is. Stop bit's 1. And then that should be it for that. So it saves it. Now it goes back into your USB, and then you select your program. So now let's go through the rest of the procedure to try to get the program in the machine. Okay, so I've gotten as far as figuring out how to get to the screen and the mode to do an input, but I'm getting an alarm, so I'm assuming some of the information isn't correct, or it could come down to the cable might not be the correct pin output on this. So if that's the case, that's gonna be a little bit of work. So for me, I don't know if you guys can see it so well, what I do is type in 01001 is the name of the program, and you hit input, and it says this little LSK flashes right here, which means it's ready to take in the program. When I go over here though, and I go to function send, nothing happens, it doesn't move. But this has a function where you can force send it, and that's what it does. But when it does that, I'm getting an alarm, PS alarm. So either the pins aren't correct on that, or one of the settings isn't correct on that. So I'm gonna read the manual a little bit and see if I can figure out the settings for that. Okay, so it took me a minute, but I figured it out. You're not gonna believe it. It's crazy. Can't believe I figured it out. So that's why these old manuals are so invaluable and come in handy. So I was trying to change the parameters. What it was the baud rate was so low on this thing that the DNC box didn't even go that low. So to change it, I had to go into diagnostics, and I actually had to figure out how to change the parameters. Like, it wasn't letting me change the parameters, but you have to go through this whole sequence to get the machine to actually allow you to change the parameters. So now I got it. Watch this. So if you go, you got to type in the name of the program, which is 01001, and you hit input. It should just start sucking in the program. See, it says input. Now watch, the program's in there. Bam. Got it in there. Wow, that's pretty crazy. That's why having these old manuals are just a lifesaver. So now that we got that done, we have to move on to actually figuring out if I have tools for this thing, how to set the tools up, how to offset the tools. Then we can start it and see if we can run a part. This machine actually has this tool post setter here that pulls out, and I guess you touch all your tools off that when it's pulled out, and then that gives you all your references, which is pretty cool. I've never seen that before. And actually when that's out, the screen will come on and flash and tell you that it's out. Okay, so now I got to find some tooling for this thing. It doesn't look like it takes the standard like 1 or 2 inch tool holders that I have for my other Akumas. So let's see what we got. I got the spindle kind of just going there. Let's see, spindle stop. But I did, fortunately, with this machine, buy a whole crate full of stuff. Let's see what we got in here. Here's some tool holders. Got some jaws, which we'll need. And these right here. If you can't find these for that little chuck, you're screwed. But here we go. Here's a tool. So let's see if it's the right handed tool, though. It's kind of why I turned that on, to see which way it's going. So the spindle's coming towards me. So that actually wouldn't work because it's going up. So I need a tool that faces down. And I could probably, if I flip that one around, it's not going to be in the right orientation. But let me see what else is in there. You know what? I have a bunch of old tool holders and stuff over here. But see, these are all bigger ones from my Akumas that I was running. See, I can swear I got a box here. Oh yeah, right here. Boom. Here's some little ones right here. So these might be the right orientation. Let's see what else I got. This one. This one. So these might be the right orientation. Let's see. I got so much stuff from buying and selling over the years. It's insane. Let's see, I want one that kind of sticks out there. And so we can do the facing. So I guess, yeah, this one would, that one fits in there. Boom. So if the spindle's coming towards me, this will come down, be able to face and machine. Boom. So we got a tool. Let's find some chuck jaws for that. I do know I had a smaller chuck like that at one time, and I do believe that I have some soft jaws, but let's see what came with it. Because there's two different CNC machines that I bought from there. One's bigger, one's smaller. So let's see. Of course, in transit, everything fell over. Oh, those are nice. They waxed those up so they didn't get damaged. That looks like it's about it. That looks right. This one looks right. And this one. Bam. So here's the jaws. Let's make sure here. Too bad they're not numbered. Usually they're numbered. Nope. But they are waxed, so they haven't been used in a while. Stored properly. Oh yeah, that's it. Boom. So there's the jaws. Okay, let's find the nuts. See if we can find the T-nuts and the bolts for these. So I know we already pulled one out. These might be too wide. See, here's the smaller ones, and these are kind of single ones. Oh, here's some more smaller. Oh, yeah, these are going to be the ones, these smaller ones right here. Man, I'm so glad that I purchased this also from that company. I pretty much told them to give me everything they had. If not, I can use these little individual ones too. But let's see if this fits in there. Oh yeah, that's it. Do they line up to the holes on this though? Oh yeah, those are it. Cool. So let me see if I can find all three of these. If not, I can use the singular ones. I got the jaws on there. I adjusted them with my micrometer. I just set it out and kind of set it in there like that and moved all the jaws up until they were in the same position. And you can see here that's in there. This is a piece of round bar that I found laying around, some scrap. And you can see when I close it, sucks it right up in the center, holds it tight. So I did adjust the chuck pressure also. I got it about, let's bump it up a little bit. It's about 150, almost 200. It's holding in there pretty tight. So now I got to put the tool in there, actually program it into Fusion with the right tool number, and then figure out the work offsets and the tool offsets for this machine. So I'll figure that out, be right back. Okay, I got the tool holder in there. I've been kind of messing with the offsets, trying to figure all that out. What I'm going to do is actually just offset that one tool because that's all I have in there. Then I'll set it up in Fusion and we'll see if we can run this bar right here. So I'm going to run the spindle. I'm going to come over here manually and just take a skim cut, stop the spindle, come back to my offset page, and offset my Z0 for that tool, and then I'll do the same thing with the face. I obviously don't think that these chuck jaws are in there correctly at the right spacing because this wobbles a little, but it won't matter once we get to machining. So let's see if we can turn the spindle on. Oh yeah, manual spindle. Let's go down to, it's about 450. Let's go into jog here. Bring this tool in. Over here. This will be the first little skim test cut on this lathe. Let's see what we get. Z. Rate down a little bit until we just touch off. There we go. X, come back out with that. Take a little skim cut. Nice. So that should be my Z0. So stop the spindle. So I've never done work offsets on one of these machines before, so I'm kind of following a YouTube video. And this guy said, type in M, and then, which is measure, Z for the axis, and then, what's he say?
Same thing, we're gonna do M for measure, Z for the axis, 0 point. 0.0 input. Boom. And it did 0 my Z axis. Wow. So I assume you do the same for the X. Let's try that. So now I'll move this up, take a little skim cut off the X and see if that works for that. Manual spindle again. Come down, just take a little cut. There we go. A little light cut. So then spindle stop. And then let's do the same thing with this offset. All right, so I designed this little part here. You can see I just put a little dip in the piece of stock, rounded the edge a little bit, and then here it is running it. Just being real conservative with it, giving us some movement just to see if we can machine a part with this thing. So let's see if we can get this exported into the machine, and then the next hurdle may be the post-processor for FANUC or FANUC turning from Fusion may not work with this machine. So we're trying just one tool. Let's see what happens. Okay, got the program here. Stick it in the DNC box. Turn that on. Select the program. Set it to send. See if I can remember how to do this now. So it's going to be 01001. Then input should start bringing it in. Yeah, it's inputting. Might be a little bit longer of a code there. Let's see. Yep, there it is. Bam. It's in there. Awesome. So fingers crossed, we're going to run this program really slow with our safety glasses on and our finger on the feed hold and stop button. And let's see what we get. I've also got it in single block mode, so I should just be able to hit it and it should go down the lines there one at a time. And like I said, butthole puckered, finger on the feed hold and stop button. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's the first line. Okay, second line, I got a PS alarm. I got a 010 PS alarm, which I'm assuming is something to do with the post processor putting out the wrong type of code, like I was saying. So let's see what's up with that. I have to figure that out. This is one of the big hurdles that I was talking about. So if that post processor doesn't match up to how the machine reads the program, it's just not gonna run right. So let's see if we can figure that out. Okay, so this is the problem that I thought I would have, and it does have to do with the post processor. I keep getting this alarm, this 10 PS alarm, and I looked it up, and that means it's unusable G code. So I've been going through this manual. Here's all the G code lists right here. And what it is Fusion's post processor is not posting out the correct stuff for this to read it. So I can get it to move around if I just keep clearing the alarms and going to the next line, the next line, the next line in the single block mode. But I doubt that we're going to be able to get it to run, which sucks. It's going to take a lot of just trying to find somebody that has a post processor that works. Back and forth with Fusion, because I do have the chat feature where I can chat with them. 9 times out of 10 though, they don't help me at all anymore. Like they used to be really, really good about that, and they would screen share you and they would help you with your problems, but recently their support has just went totally downhill. I pay for 2 seats every year just so I can get the support, and it's not even worth it anymore. Like I said, they don't even help me with any of my issues anymore, so I don't know if I'll be able to get that sorted out. Okay, so I've messed with so many different post processors trying to get this to work, and I can get the program in no problem, which is half the battle. That's great. But like I was saying before, this is one of the major hurdles that can take you weeks and weeks and months to figure out, or you can pay someone to build you a post processor. So the 4 or 5 different post processors that I've used to export the code isn't communicating good with the computer. I can get it in there, I can get it to move around, but there's a bunch of like G code errors that aren't lining up with the machine. So unfortunately, I can get it to accept the code, I can get it to move around a little bit, but I can't run a part on it. Let me show you. You can start going down the program though. It doesn't like that G18, but I can just start clicking down the program and it will start moving. Another PS alarm. And like I said, this is half the battle right here. See, it did the tool change. Now I get another alarm because it doesn't like that. So it didn't like, anytime there's a G18, it just doesn't like it. Also G54, this controller doesn't like for some reason, so I'm going to get another error. CPS alarm, which I went through and taken all that stuff out of there. It still doesn't matter. It still hits an error no matter what I do. But let's see. So see, it's started it, and it moved the turret back, and it went to over travel. So what's happening is it's the post processor just all messed up and just doesn't work right for this, and I'd have to either sit for weeks and try to figure it out, or pay somebody to rewrite the post processor for me, which I'm not going to do for this machine because I'm not going to keep it. I personally run Akuma's, and the reason that I run Akuma is because I've been through all this already and taken weeks and months to try to figure out a post processor that works and edit the post processor. So I've already got all that done for an Akuma, and that's why I run that. But if someone took the time, figured that out, you absolutely could use this with modern code. So that's about it for this video. If any of you guys are familiar with this Fanuc OT or have a post processor that works for this, drop a comment below. I really appreciate all the support from you guys. Again, if you want one of these hats, check out my website. It's prestigemanufacturing.net. I'll leave a link below. I really appreciate all the support, all the comments you guys are giving me on my latest videos. I'll see you on the next one.